Hey everybody, good morning here in Northern Illinois. As you can see, it's a beautiful but overcast day here, and I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here to join me. So, for the next couple weeks, I'm going to be covering a book that I've been reading from one of my favorite authors. Actually, he's now an author, he was a marketing guru, Eben Pagan. Opportunity. And, being the child of a librarian and the sister of a librarian and the daughter of a teacher, books have always been a really big part of my life. And so I've got a great library at my business of body-mind things and great tools and paradigm shifts and everything that really moves us in a great physical and mental direction. Hey, Geneva. So, one of the things about all the books that I've read is most of the books have one central theme, one central principle that the books are kind of organized around, one thought process that this author or this guru suggests that you follow. And so, and that's always been really interesting. Hey, Jessica, but then it's meant that I've had to read a lot of books to get a lot of different points of view. And I just don't have time. Hey, Kathy. And that's one of those things that have come out lately of, with the audiobooks or people sending you synopsis of books. You can't see. Oh, no. I'm sorry, Geneva. I hope you have a great day anyways. Okay, where am I at? All right, so all of this great information's out there, but we don't have time to engage with it, or we don't have time to read it or really absorb it in because each book is only about one topic, one paradigm. Hey, Debbie. The thing I like about this book, Opportunity, is that it gives you so many different models of looking at the world. Just like when you were a kid. You'd look at the world as if you were a space person, if you were from the planet Mars, or you'd look at the world as if you were a dragon. So what Opportunity this book does is it gives me not just one guru's paradigm or point of view, it goes through and finds really great, hey Kara, really great life principles that you can hold up like eyeglasses or a telescope to look at a situation with, and then when you're done with it, put it down. Or you can say, from my family hat, I'm going to look at it as if I'm a mother, as if I'm a daughter, as if I'm a sister, as if I'm a spouse. I'm going to look at this situation from all those different lenses. And one of the things that keeps us flexible and multidimensional and really growing, hey Jan, and really evolving and becoming the coolest people that we can be is that we get out of our one paradigm or mindset. We don't follow one specific path, one guru or one model of looking at the world, because that locks us in. In business, they want everybody to niche down and only cover one thing. Hey, Daniel. But that one thing, it stagnates you. If you only focus on this is the one thing that I'm going to do, that's all I'm going to do, you stop growing as a person. So the thing that I like about this book in relationship to so many of the other books that I have is his focus is on mental models of looking at the world. So the next couple weeks, we're going to cover these different mental models. And today, we're going to cover something called the Pareto principle. So, hang on a second. Who was he? Vilfredo Pareto was an economist who lived in Italy 100 years ago. Okay, so he noticed a pattern. And the pattern he noticed, this person who loved numbers and loved patterns, what he noticed is that only 20% of the things that he was doing was providing 80% of the benefit of what he wanted. So when he started to look at the pattern in his life, he started to realize that he was doing all of these things, all of these tasks, which gave some benefit, but only a few tasks gave a big benefit, gave him the most results for what he was looking for. So this is really true in my life, and it's one of the reasons of my successes as well. When someone comes into my office, one of the first things I ask them is, what are you doing that makes you feel good? And what are you doing that makes you feel bad? And most times people don't know. They don't know what they're doing that makes them feel good and what makes them feel bad. Instead, they kind of gave their power away to other people and said, tell me what will make me feel good. Tell me what will make me feel bad. And unfortunately, with this great advice, it only comes from one point of view, from the point of view of the herbalist, or the point of view of the scientist, or the point of view of the Western medicine doctor. You know, we as individuals have to find out for ourselves what 20% of the things that we're doing that will give us the majority of the results. Hey, Lillian. So I'm going to give an example in my own real life. You know, when my husband realized that the only things I really, that I would get really excited about for gifts would be really good chocolate, and there's a couple, places I like it from, and really good flowers, and there's one place I like the flowers from. When he realized that, we've been together about 25 years now, and when he realized that, he saved 80% of his time, because he didn't have to look for or think about or come up with some creative, crazy thing that would make me happy, that would keep me in a good mood and cheerful, and making sure that he got what he was looking for. So when he realized that he didn't have to do the 1.5 million things to make me happy, that really he just had to get me really good chocolate and really good flowers and I would be happy, he saved 80% of his time. Okay, let's look at happiness. For me, I've discovered that my weaknesses for happiness is my body, is my self-care. And so when I realized that there were a few things that made me feel good, hey, Christine, that made me feel happy, I could let go of 80% of the other things. There's all these things that you should be doing in life, that you should be doing to be healthy, that you should be doing to be happy. And we make ourselves crazy trying to do all of them. So I realized there's only a few things that really, that gives me 80% of the results for happiness. One of them is drinking water in the morning. First thing in the morning, that will make me happy. Second thing that will make me happy is taking my vitamins. Usually within an hour of taking my vitamins, I feel happy. And the third thing is movement. When I make sure that I get good movement and music and connection, and so if I go to the gym and listen to some great music and talk to some friends, that takes care of 80% of making me feel good. So instead of looking desperately around for the magic pill of what will make me feel fabulous, instead look at your life. Oh, I take ones which are concentrated. The vitamins I take are concentrated fruits and vegetables because that provides 80% of what makes me feel good in my vitamins. So instead of going for, I'm going to take 20 different individual vitamins, I take a really good, high quality, concentrated one. And so then I'm not taking 40 pills. I'm taking 2 a day. And it takes care of a lot. It takes care of the antioxidants. It takes care of the, the different colors that I need. It takes care of the micronutrients that I need. So I don't have to go crazy with supplements because I can just take 2 and it takes care of 80% of what I need. So what about in, let's say, my business? In my business, I've discovered there's only a few things. Okay, I'll be able to give you the brand tomorrow morning then. So if you check in or listen to the live stream tomorrow, I'll hold up my vitamins and you'll be able to see the kind that I get. And I like them, and it's the research that I put in to find what will make me feel good. So let's say with my business and marketing, you're supposed to do 1 million different things, have an Instagram account and a Twitter account and a Facebook account and all of this stuff. But you know what? 80% of the people in this world, especially the people who resonate with me, who love what I have to say, are on Facebook. They're women of, and men of a more advanced thought process, who are a little more evolved, and they're on Facebook. They want the social. They want the connection. And so why would I spend, if Instagram only has 20% of the population of the world and, who are using it, and that 20% are people who are, let's say, in their 20s, that's not my demographic. So instead of trying to do social media all over the place, I do my live streams because that's the best way for people to get to know me. So I don't waste a lot of time on the 20% of the things, or on the 80% of the things that don't give me the results that I want. Okay, let's say in a conversation with friends of mine, if I learn my friends a little bit, I can understand how to navigate the conversation in the direction I want to go, because I have learned sort of the things that they need to hear. Hey, Christine, the things they need to hear and the order they need to hear them in, so that I don't have to waste a lot of time going around things that we've been through a million times before. You all have those friends that they can only talk about one topic, and that's all they talk about. And whenever you get together with them, you kind of feel like you're wasting your time because there's no progress, because no one's moving forward. There's no there's no change in the conversation. Hey, Hannah Lisa. So I've learned through my practice that when you listen to somebody, when you're present with someone, that gives them what they need. And so they're able to move on to a different conversation, to a different topic really fast, because I'm present to what they have to say. I'm listening to them. I'm engaging with them about what they have to say. And once somebody feels heard, that little check mark in, box in their mind gets ticked off, and they're able to go to the next thing in line, the next topic of conversation. So instead of, when I talk to my friends or when I have conversations with people, instead of feeling like, oh my gosh, I just spent the last 3 hours talking about this, it's insane, what a waste of my life. Instead, if I spend just a little bit of time, if I spend, just a few moments really being present and validating and listening to what they have to say, hey, Ro, then the rest of the conversation starts to become insightful and problem solving and open-minded and creative and becomes a really fulfilling conversation with me. So now I'm not spending, 80% of my time in conversation that makes me feel completely insane and checked out and like I have better things to do. Now I'm spending the conversations that fulfill me because I know the 20% of the things that I need to do that will get me what I want. So let's say in relationship with my husband or in an argument. When you're arguing with someone, when you can find the 20% of the things that actually get you heard, that will draw their attention so that you can have a conversation, so that you can make your point, when you realize what those the 20% of the things that actually work for you, then you don't have to waste 80% of your time having this big argument. Instead, you're able to make the point that you need to make it quickly, make it efficiently, and it hits home. For some people, maybe it means you have to make it in a really loud voice. Some people, maybe you need to remind them of the wrongs that they've done in the past because that little bit of guilt works on that person. Sometimes you need to give, the person you're talking to, you need to give them something that makes them feel good first, and then what they were upset about or arguing about goes away. A good example is hangry. When you're angry because you're hungry. Have you ever noticed that a lot of people, they do get angry when they're hungry? And if someone's angry and you offer them a snack or you make them a snack, it suddenly takes care of 80% of the argument. Making a sandwich or offering a protein bar takes care of 80% of the things that you might have argued about Because the real problem wasn't because they were angry. It was because they were uncomfortable, because they were hungry, because there was something they weren't getting. So this is the Pareto principle for you. The Pareto principle is 20% of the things that you're doing will give you 80% of the results. So if you focus on the 20% of the things that actually work for you, then that saves up 80% of your time. You don't have to spend all of the other time doing these things which aren't very effective. And then you can do more of that 20%. You can be more present with more people. You know, they say you can only have a circle of about 40 people that you can be present to. And that's because people have a lot of needs. You know, we have a lot of balls to juggle. But when you realize that if you are completely present with someone, you don't need as much time, and you're able to have more relationships with more people. Hey, Linda, you're able to expand your circle of support to something that's bigger because you are getting to the point faster. You're giving people what they need quicker. So this is something I want you to think about. Now, in the book, you know, Eben talks about nutrition-wise. He realized that 20% of the foods out there have the highest nutritional value. And so if he focused on eating only the 20% of the foods, you know, or focusing on the 20% of the foods that gave him the highest nutritional value, he got what he needed. It's like me taking my vitamins. I found the best vitamins that will give me the most comprehensive thing that I need, and so I don't have to take a million different supplements. I don't have to, you know, organize them all and keep buying them all. Instead, I just focus on the one and it takes care of it. So I want you to, here's your homework assignment for today. I want you to apply the Pareto principle to something in your life. I want you to look at one thing in your life that you feel that is a little out of control. Remember, we don't do the big ones, we do the medium ones. Because the big ones, then you try it and you'll fail because it's too big. You're not ready for it yet. But if you do a medium one, I want you to find one thing that you can look at and say, what's working and what's not working? What's giving me 80% of the results? And it'll only be 20% of the things that you're doing. And that gives you permission to give less time and less attention to all those other things that only give you a tiny little benefit, and focus your time and energy on the few things that give you the most benefit. So take one thing in your life. It could be a relationship, it could be a friendship, it could be a conversation, it could be your business, it could be your marketing, dating, it could be dating, exactly. And I want you to look at it and do a little bit of observation. Use it as an experiment and see what is the 1, 2, or the 20% of the things which are being most effective for you. You know, if we're going to talk about dating, you know, one of the things that I've discovered from talking and working with so many women is that if you are very, very upfront, honest, and clear about who you are and what you're looking for, then you get to weed out 80% of the people that are terrible fits for you. You don't have to, you know, see if someone is a good person or a bad person or whatever. One of the funny things that I did for a long time in my life, and yes, on the one hand, it could be seen as, you know, maybe a detriment, but on the other hand, it worked really effective for me. You know, I showed some of my flaws, many of my flaws, soon after meeting people, because the people that wouldn't have the resilience and the compassion and the understanding that I needed and wanted in my life as friends and compatriots, they went away because they didn't have the level of understanding or compassion. They weren't evolved enough. They didn't think in a big enough perspective in order to really see and understand whatever flaws that I have. And so I would bring up my flaws pretty quick in new friendships. Hey, Cassandra, so that the people who didn't value those sorts of things, couldn't see past them, they went away, which meant that only the very best people stayed in my life. So in my practice, I see a psychologist every week. Hey, Johnny, nice to see you. I see a psychologist every week. And I also have a lot of friends who are in the personal growth business and things like that. And they talk all the time about the people who come into their office, into their space, which aren't good fits for them, which are very difficult to deal with, who need more from them than they want to give. And the interesting thing in my practice is I don't get that. Because when people come in, they get me. They get who I am. Hey, Margaret. They get who I am really quick. And the people who aren't interested, hey, Jamie, who don't resonate with me, they don't stay. And then I'm not wasting this time trying to help someone who isn't in a space to want to be helped, who doesn't resonate with who I am. So be authentic. At least let's say with dating or friendships or relationships, be who you are, show some of your dark sides pretty quick. Because yeah, a lot of people will go away, but that 80% of the people aren't the ones that you wanted to have in your life. It's the 20% of the people that say, well, that's curious and interesting. I want to learn more. I think I'm going to stick. Those are the people that you want in your life. So then you're not wasting 80% of your time with people who just don't resonate with you, okay? So that's it for today. That's your homework assignment. Find a few things in one topic that is giving you 80% of the results. And that means you can drop 80% of the other stuff that you're doing. Just focus on the things which are really working for you and let the other things go. You don't have to worry about it. And just because something works for somebody else doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So you have to take a little bit of observation of your own life and a little bit of, self-reflection of what feels good and what doesn't feel good. But when you start doing that, it frees up your time to do the things that fulfill you, that are playful, that are extras, that are the whipped cream on life. Instead of spending all of this time doing things that make you crazy and make you feel like you're spinning your wheels, okay? So for me, it's water, it's good vitamins, it's movement, and it's my practice and all the great, high quality, wonderful people that I engage with through that. For you, I don't know what it is, but I'm sure you're going to find it. So tomorrow we're going to cover another mental model, another lens to look at the world through. So I'm excited. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I'll find it. All right, another way to look at the world and kind of organize your life. So have a great rest of your day. Like, comment, share, and let's get this information out to everybody so we can start making a big impact in the world. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Oh.